Hi guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to Twain's World. Please comment, like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when I post great content. Now today I have decided to talk about why there's a lack of quality full stack developers here in the UK and why I have chosen a full stack developer as opposed to going with someone like WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, any of those other kind of frameworks. A full stack developer is someone that is able to build out a user interface as well as a REST APIs, code associated with those REST APIs. A front-end developer is someone that builds the user interface of an app. So that could be an Android app, that could be an iPhone app, that could also potentially be a website. A back-end developer is someone that actually builds the back end of a website, so it makes sure that the back end communicates with the front end via REST APIs and also some sort of connection with the database. When I was on my hunt and on my search for a full stack developer, I couldn't find it. I went on to places like Fiverr, I went on to Upworks, I went on to TalkTalk, I went on to LinkedIn. To find a full stack developer is like looking for a needle in a haystack. I was typing in on Total, okay, let me look for a full stack developer in this particular programming language that I was looking for. The ones that were based in the UK, they had excellent reviews, engaged in other projects, or they were from the UK but they weren't necessarily living in the UK. Because I need a developer that's obviously living here in the UK. It's just a joke. Like, it's so crazy. And then when you find a full stack developer, they are somewhere in Eastern Europe, or if they're not in Eastern Europe or Western Europe, I tend to find that they are in America and China. I remember I went to Scotland and they've got something called Codebase or something like that there. And these people are they're solely tech focused. When I did go there, they said, okay, I can see you, but we're on a waiting list, but I needed it done now. And sometimes you end up picking someone that's not necessarily 100% of what you're looking for. People say, oh, why would you need a full stack developer? Why don't you use something like WordPress? The whole problem with these type of frameworks is the fact that it can't scale, you're boxed in. And essentially, if a developer decides to go on a venture or something like that and abandons the plugin, the updates are not done. So basically you're stuck with a plugin. If you don't have a developer that is conversant in maybe PHP and stuff like that, it will be a problem. PHP is a programming language used to use Wix, WordPress, Squarespace, or anything of that nature, was primarily because I believe that it didn't give me the opportunity to customize. Now the problem that I had was the fact that they might know front end but not back end. But if you want to be a freelance, it's advantageous for you to know full stack development because you can do both front and back end. But what I found was that most of the developers here in the UK were basically front-end developers. As a beginner, yes, you should be a full stack developer. I understand when you first start out, you're not going to be necessarily, big corporations are not going to allow a junior to go on the back end. But if you know full stack development both front and back end, should you wish to be a freelancer, that's to your benefit. So I don't understand why people discourage people from being a full stack developer, but I think it's something that people should be encouraged to learn. I think that England need to start nurturing and fostering talent because it's to your benefit. Obviously when you go to the big corporations and things like that, they're not necessarily going to give you a full stack development job. Being a full stack developer, you don't necessarily get paid a lot. Being a back-end developer, you get paid more. But if you learn both the front and the back end, the world is your oyster essentially. You could be a front-end developer, back-end developer, you could be a full-stack developer. Do you know what I mean? And it's essential because we are moving more and more into the technological age where a lot of startups are starting to come up. And not everybody wants to use a framework such as WordPress or Wix or Squarespace. They might want to use something else. I would say it's the only framework that I could say is very different compared to the rest. It gives you a bit more autonomy than say WordPress. Guys, thank you very much for listening to me. Take care, goodbye. Remember to comment, like and subscribe, share it to your friends and your people then. Bye.